All right, so I want to talk about something that might sound a little bit controversial, but it's worth listening to or learning from because this is something that a lot of people have actually overlooked. And trust me, when I was growing up as well, I used to think, yeah, probably that's how things are. But little did I know that as I grow like older, like maybe learn more things, my perspective would change because sometimes people behave the way they do at the level at which they are because that's the only knowledge, that's the only understanding they've come to learn. So, what exactly did I mean to say? I wanted to bring to your attention that poverty or lack, such things, is, poverty is actually is man-made, or should I say, when you find somebody going through mostly these challenges to do with financial or whatever lack and all these things are self-afflicted or caused by human beings themselves. So just allow me to explain. Before I even get to the biblical side of this, I'm sure you can already tell that when you look around you, there are so many nice things, yeah? I'll give you an example. Wherever you are, if you just maybe drive around the city or take a walk in your neighborhood, you'll find that there's some nice things. Maybe people are driving nice cars, people have built beautiful houses, running beautiful businesses and stuff like that. Wonderful things are there. Good things are here on earth. But why do we still have people suffering? The reason is simple. Like I said, poverty and lack. These are things that people have actually inflicted upon themselves. I'm saying this because I've come to learn, for example, that from the time that every person is born, every child is born, trust me, regardless whether that person was born and abandoned, or maybe that person has no parents, whatever it is, I've come to learn that in the life of that person, there will always be opportunities. There will always be something that was presented before that person as an opportunity for them to excel in life. That's what I've come to learn. Like, it doesn't matter really whether that person went to school or they never went to school. What I've come to learn is there will always be an opportunity presented to every person on the planet in one way or another. Trust me, I've come to observe that. There are people who have actually made it in this life. People who, when you look at them, you even wonder like, but how did this guy make it? And yet there are some other people with so many other opportunities and yet they can't make it. What am I trying to tell you? I've met people very old in age, maybe 60s, 70s, and they begin to narrate to me the lives that they've lived, the choices, the decisions that they made along the way. I'll tell you an example. There was one time I was at Twin Palm Mall. They are Twin Palm Mall right here in Lusaka. So I was at a restaurant somewhere, and then seated next to my table was this elderly man. And for some reason, I found myself having a discussion with him. And I love the direction that our story took, because he began to explain to me how that he used to work for, he used to work for ZAF and all that, like Zambia Airways, whatever, the airport and stuff like that. So he told me how he had a bunch of his other colleagues or workmates that they used to work together with. And he told me how there came a time after they were all retrenched, or after they were all made, let me say when their contracts ended and all that stuff, there came a time when these people were rewarded or they received their benefits. But then he went on to narrate that, you see, everybody got their lump sum of the money. But then he told me what he did with his money. And I thought that was something worth taking note as a young man in my position. Because he mentioned that, you see, what I did was this and this. He went on to explain to me how he invested in building houses, this and that, to a point whereby even if right now he's not working due to his age challenges and all that stuff, he told me that he's still earning the money from the investments that he made. And then he went further to tell me how others, they never did what he did. Some just went about, living lives of a party and just mismanaging their funds before they knew it. Regardless of how huge those monies were, they ended up losing those monies. Right now, they are still struggling, he went on to tell me. What am I trying to say here? Our problem as individuals, especially in Africa, of course, this is a problem I've seen that is happening worldwide. But if I'm to point out, it's not really so much to say, no, money is hard to find or opportunities are hard to find. The issue that I see around many people is that not many have learned the art of managing their finances when they come to them. Not many have learned what to do with the opportunities once they are presented to them. Or how else would you explain the way sometimes people come out saying stuff like, oh, it's funny how I would have all these ideas about doing this and that business, but when the money comes, then all of a sudden it's like all those ideas disappear and I don't know what to do. Why do some people talk like that? It's because they haven't learned how to manage their finances. So I think the biggest challenge or the biggest problem that people have right now is learning how to manage their money, learning how to manage their finances. The sooner we learn how to do that, the quicker we deal with the problem to do with poverty. So I hope you have learned one or two things. This has been SA to the GE, and I'll see you in the next video.